So I want to tell you something that happened this week that I think perfectly sums up where we are right now with AI and the job market. And once you hear it, I think you are going to understand why I have been sounding the alarm on this for so long. Oracle, one of the largest technology companies on the planet, with around 162,000 employees worldwide, is planning to slash between 20,000 and 30,000 positions, potentially 12 to 18% of its entire global workforce. And it could happen as early as this month. Now you might be thinking, okay, another tech company laying people off. We have heard this story before, but here is what makes this one different. Here is what makes this one important. The layoffs are being driven by a cash crunch from massive spending on AI data centers. Oracle is not cutting people because business is bad. Oracle is cutting people to generate $8 to $10 billion in cash flow, specifically to fund its AI infrastructure, including a $156 billion deal with OpenAI that requires 3 million GPUs over 5 years. Let me say that again, so it lands properly. They are firing tens of thousands of human beings to pay for the machines that will eventually replace even more human beings. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is the stated business rationale from one of the most powerful technology companies in the world. And it is happening right now in March 2026. But Oracle is not alone. Not even close. Tech layoffs in 2026 have already hit 45,000, with over 9,200 directly linked to AI and automation. And Amazon alone accounts for over 52% of those cuts. Amazon laid off 16,000 employees in its second massive round of cuts in 2 months. And Amazon's own CEO, Andy Jassy, has been remarkably blunt about why. Jassy wrote to employees that as the company rolls out more AI and agents, it will need fewer people doing some of the jobs being done today. He did not hide it. He put it in writing and sent it to his workforce. And then he did exactly what he said he was going to do. And just to show you how deep this goes, on March 4th, Amazon cut more than 100 white-collar jobs inside its own robotics division. The very team responsible for building its warehouse automation systems, while simultaneously calling robotics a strategic priority. They're laying off the people who build the robots while continuing to build the robots. That tells you everything you need to know about where human labor fits into this equation going forward. Now, here is where it gets even more uncomfortable. Because some economists and analysts have been arguing that AI is being used as a convenient excuse, that companies are just blaming technology for cuts that were always coming. And there is some truth to that. Researchers at Oxford Economics suggested some firms are dressing up layoffs as a good news story by pointing to AI instead of admitting past overhiring. And look, that is a fair point. A lot of these companies absolutely overhired during the pandemic stimulus years and are now correcting. But here is why that argument misses the bigger picture. It does not matter whether AI is the real reason or the convenient excuse right now. What matters is the trajectory. In 2025, companies directly pointed to AI in announcing 55,000 job cuts, more than 12 times the number of layoffs attributed to AI just 2 years earlier. 12 times in 2 years. Whether AI is the real driver or the cover story, the number of people losing jobs with AI cited as the reason is accelerating at a rate that should alarm everyone, regardless of what industry they work in. And the promise that has been made over and over again, that AI will create as many jobs as it destroys, is not showing up in the data. Not yet. Forrester research found that 55% of employers actually regretted laying off workers for AI-related reasons because the technology was not advanced enough to replace the human judgment those workers provided. Some companies are quietly rehiring. But the people being rehired are not the same people who were let go. They are younger, they are cheaper, and they are specifically hired to manage AI systems rather than do the jobs that used to exist. The old roles are gone. The new roles are fewer and harder to qualify for. So what does all of this actually mean for regular working Americans right now? Because this is not just a tech story. This is an everybody story. The 45,000 tech workers who have already lost their jobs in 2026 are real people. They have mortgages. They have car payments. They have families. And when high-earning white-collar workers lose their jobs, the downstream effects move quickly. They stop spending at restaurants. They cancel subscriptions. They pull back on everything discretionary. And that pullback hits the blue-collar workers, the service workers, The gig workers who depend on that spending to generate their own income? We already saw this pattern play out over the past 2 years as white-collar layoffs quietly bled into broader economic weakness. The February jobs report showing 92,000 jobs lost across the entire economy is not separate from this story. It is a direct consequence of it. And here is the part that I keep coming back to because I think it is the most honest thing I can tell you. The companies doing this are not evil. They are not sitting in boardrooms cackling about throwing people out of work. They are responding to competitive pressure in an environment where if you do not adopt AI aggressively, your competitor will, and then you will not exist at all. That is the reality of the moment we are in. The technology is moving faster than policy, faster than retraining programs. Faster than the social safety net that was designed for a completely different era of economic disruption. What you can do right now is get ahead of it rather than wait for it to arrive at your door. Whatever your industry, whatever your role, the question you need to be asking yourself today is what part of what I do could an AI system do in 3 years? Not 10 years. 3. And what can I develop, build, or position myself around that is genuinely difficult to automate. Human judgment, relationship building, physical skilled trades, creative problem solving in unpredictable environments. These are the categories that have a real runway. Generalist white-collar work that follows predictable patterns does not. The companies have already made their decision. They are building the infrastructure to need fewer of us. The only real question is what you are building in response. If this resonated with you, make sure you subscribe because this is exactly the content I keep bringing to this channel. And go watch the video on screen right now. It connects directly to everything we just covered. See you in the next one!